Hello, Edward. You can turn it too. It's like tightened to stay in place, and you're like, well, what if I turn it while not loosening it?
Oh.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I could actually make these posts.
That's an apple bloom.
The screen's not showing yet. Come on. There it goes. I probably should actually restart this event because I was poking at thing.
Agreed.
Right. Hello. There's Mike.
Oh, you moved your mic.
Hmm?
You moved your microphone.
Yeah. I was hoping I could put it up higher, but then I had to put it further away so it doesn't get in front of the camera, so I had to put it lower again. But for the Fallout stream, I can use both at the same time, which is actually pretty nifty. So I could actually put both on both sides, which means no matter where I turned, it still picks up me up. Which is pretty...
It's
worked.
spiffy.
It worked, so it's good. Hello, Soviet. Hello, Luna.
Hello.
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 Right. Oh yeah, I got this thing. I usually want to usually a fun picture something or other, but then I didn't for that time. Hello, charting. So I did do a bunch of work on this, but there's no way I'm going to have this done for Friday. I've been spending too much time doing other stuff. So I don't know what I'm going to do for this week, but I have done quite a bit of work on this, though. I think this first... everything that's in yellow is mostly animated already. So that's done. This is done. And this one's done. And then that one's done. So those are... I mean, they're not done. They need to clean up. They need backgrounds. They need lighting. Because right now, I think... yeah, there's no light. I gotta figure out why the goggles do this. Like, right now it looks fine. But as soon as it clips anything, then it breaks it.
You take the lenses out. Oh, wait.
No, I can. Which is what I usually do. I like the look of it, though. Maybe not that strong. I like it reduced a little bit, but...
I was thinking from the perspective of, like, modeling and, like, you're not gonna... Can you take the lenses out? Or do you just make them invisible?
Make them invisible.
Oh, okay.
I can increase their transparency, which is what I would normally do, but being that it just does that glitchy crap, because it's only it'll show some things, so it's showing the background here, but anything that's her, it's ignoring the transparency. Transparency in SFM has these issues where, well, some models it will show, and other ones it won't, because it's not clipping. It's in front of her, but it's just.
It does not care.
Yeah, it's just where, and it like even here, it doesn't. It's not. It. Oh, this is the inside of the circle. That's why this part shows. You can see all the way around there, and it'll show through the background. I don't know if it'll show the ground. Now, see, it goes in front of the ground too, but that's part of the map, which is not a model. It's really weird. It's really trippy too. Oh, and itself apparently too.
Yes, soup. I agree.
Oh, Jules, it's just soup. That's I got step on the nose. So those are mainly done. I just have to do some cleanup and background for those. Otherwise,
no time was wasted.
What?
No time was wasted.
For stupid face?
Mm-hmm.
What can I do for stupid face? I already did Big Mac Tractor.
You could replace all their butts with their heads. I like this idea.
Why?
Because then there'd be a bunch of butt heads.
If you need a movie, I can.
I have nothing but good ideas.
Hmm. I'm gonna take a second to set up.
No. I feel like this is...
Normally when I load in Derpy, you get all excited.
Yes, but you want to torture her.
No.
Yeah. Well, you do. It was her day this week. It was Derpy
This week.
Day. Yes.
It was her day this week. It doesn't mean
was.
it's today.
No, I mean it's a week-long holiday. Now it's Derpy week from here forth. All the other ponies get a day. Derpy gets a whole week because she's awesome.
Oh, Elbrony. Okay.
Derpy's stealing that tractor. Yay.
Hmm?
The Derpy's stealing the tractor. It's her tractor now.
Yep.
Now what are you doing? Oh, there's two Derpies. No.
Hmm?
This is biting. You're a bad person.
I'm not doing anything. There.
What are you doing?
That one. There. Do that. Okay. This will be a little tough because of one thing here. So we will probably do maybe 4. So we will do 4.
Oh, big Derpies. Even better. Wait, no, they're so close together. Double.
What happened to the Derpies? You're too big.
No, that's good.
Oh, okay.
Big Derpies are better. To get more Derpy that way.
Okay, I guess they gotta stay. They gotta stay a little derps. I didn't think that would do that. So, okay. Put that up there. Now we'll put this one out here. There we go. Okay. But now, yeah, there we go. So,
Right.
so there we go. So she's now, so this tractor.
Wind them.
This tractor, it's powered. It's powered by derp.
That makes it a very powerful tractor.
So when they go to use the tractor, they'll look like, here comes the tractor. It seems like it should be a little bit bumpy.
You won't think, but she kicks off. She's perfectly balanced derps.
You know what? I will fix this. We will make it act more like a derpy tractor should.
Got 2 horsepower.
It's got 2 horsepower. Yes. Is this the everything? No, there's got to be one that's the non-root one. Oh, there it is. Okay. All right. So now we'll just take this and we'll put that. Okay. So now here goes the derpy tractor.
Yeah, the derpy tractor.
Oh wow, Luna, that's a whole bunch. Thank you very much.
That's more than one.
Wow. And congrats, I always burn toast. Always burns toast. I know how that feels. Captain Tin, Jackie, Boy, Casey, and El Brony.
Cool.
Thank you very much, Luna.
I always burn bread.
I must show you. Give me 36 subs. Jesus Christ, man.
You
Cool.
haven't become toast.
Hmm?
You burn bread. It doesn't even become toast. It's just bread and burnt bread.
Can you just... You already had to bake the bread to make it bread. Can't you just skip right from, like, dough to toast? Nice. Thank you very much. Hi, Moonshadow.
I feel like
Oh, wait, so we
the
got...
answer's beyond this.
Hey, Tracker, so here she goes. That's not enough. Hold on. Ooh, that's still not enough. Okay. I think this is enough now. So, she's farming. Well, we can smooth out a little bit. There we go. There, see, this is a little better.
For the next turkey face, I think we should like it would be really funny if
Oh, look, it's going. Gotta chase her down. See, she's being useful. See, look how useful they're being. Those are some good horses.
I'm glad you agree.
See, they're like, we're helping.
Yeah. She's so cute. We're gonna go.
Please don't make us do this again. I'm like, oh God! Yay, Thank you, Luna. Let's see the animation. Yes, it's. You know what we need? We need a mic model.
No, we don't.
Yay,
No.
why did it play? Oh, Jules did it too. I was like, why is it playing?
It's good to know that if you that adds them all up, so that you can break them up like that.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, he did 1,000 for soup, but then the next guy did Luna Pulsar for 500, but they separated them. Did it play twice?
No, because it did 1,500.
That's two different people.
Yeah, so it played twice.
But did it?
It's math. Math. No, but thank you very much, guys. You guys are awesome. I love it, like, it starts going, and then, like, Applejack looks over, and she's like, what's going on over there? She's like, what the fuck?
They don't have gasoline in Equestria, so they make do.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out derbies.
No. Good derbies.
You want to see it looks like when she gets a flat?
No. Because it seems like it might be cruel.
Oh, Okay, this might get messy.
Or Derby.
There. Now. Hold on. Now they're better.
Look what he's doing. He's torturing Derby. Boycott Argo Dangon.
There. Is this better? Now they're actually doing little cartwheels. See? And there she goes. She's coming back. Look, she's okay. Look at this. Look at that. Is she? We can.
Her legs are like.
See, the easiest way to solve this is that we just force the smile. See? Oh, I should upside down. I gotta like look it up.
Even more demented.
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
You know what would be great for the next Super Face if we put Rainbow Dash in an oven.
You know, it when You can do whatever you want when your time comes.
It's too hard to save up all those points.
It's done on purpose, man.
Save up your points, guys. We can stop this derpy abuse.
No, it would just be 15 minutes of like juice boxes and socks.
No.
There we go.
Pony kisses.
Tractor's fine. Well, I'm real. And Hermosa and Macros and Skylight. Hello. She's
like whole time.
She was a compacted tire. The Derpy goes Beyblade.
No.
Was there like a standard Beyblade song? I don't know.
Oh, you were quoting him. I thought you loved the derpy abuse.
Oh, yeah, a little bit. I do. Gotta love... just look at the rolling locked. Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you, Moon Shadow. She does love... everybody loves derpy abuse. Anyway, so...
Wait, even you?
That's... I like abuse. No, I love derpy abuse.
I thought you said you love derpy hooves.
No, I said derpy abuse.
You're saying no.
Because the thing is, if there's no derpy abuse, then there's no derpy.
That's not true. That's a horrible thing to say. My favorite video is cupcakes.
Why is Derpy Day on Derpy Day?
March 1st?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was probably the premiere of the episode of that she was in. Or like had her voice, maybe.
I don't know who assigns why national holidays fall on certain days.
I would think that you would know.
I honestly don't.
Anyway, so I have been working on this one though. This is what I'm probably going to poke out a little bit today, but this is the one that's really complicated, like her getting on the tractor, and I'm working on keyframing it. It's just kind of complicated, so I've got quite a few of the motions in. Right now, the way that I'm kind of doing this is I'm probably going to have her be partially getting up onto this element and then stepping into it within the keyframing. And because with the time and everything, even if it means I have to extend a little bit in Apple Blooms, having to actually have her get up there means usually jumping or hopping, and I don't know if I could do that to look good with any decent amount of time, at least without a rig. So the easiest way to do it is to kind of cheat it where I'm having her finish the last leg of it instead. And so the idea is, and I actually worked this in, I started from here and then I moved to this pose, and I think I've been working in reverse, actually, partially. So the idea here is I need to have her in... Okay, she's just kind of sitting there weird. Why is there, like, 2 bookmarks? Okay, I need to fix her here. Oh, yeah, that's kind of goofy. Go out. That didn't fully hit out. There we go. And in. Oh, that did a lot. No, we don't want to do that. We want to do that. Okay. And we want to go to playhead. Okay. There we go. The non-Bronies think Artie's the most popular character on LP. They clearly don't know Derpy. Well, I think she's the most marketed character.
Derpy's a little harder to market just because they can't put her name on anything. So they just put I love and then Derpy's face.
I think the colors and everything in Rainbow Dash tend to, I think, work better on a whole for this show. Thanks for the follow, Fluff.
It does stand out.
So what I'm doing right now is I have her where she's going to be getting on to here. And normally if you have your legs on the ground, you're probably going to have opposite legs on first. That's why I have them as they are. The idea is then her next step would be to get to the edge of this and to then brace herself on this. And I'm not worried about head position. The only thing I'm really worried about when I keyframe stuff like this is the things that are interacting with the surface. Everything is like the head motion. I have full control to move that wherever I want at any point after the keyframing is done. So I'm not all that worried about that portion. I am worried about if I have to move any rotations on the chest, because that is going to potentially affect some stuff. But other than that, anything on the neck and head, I'm not really worried about. So her head position might be a little, or like, her eyes are kind of blank. I don't really care right now. Or in her tail, because again, those are all separate. They're not interacting with the surface. So to get her legs there, then to get herself churned, so as I have her butt pretty churned and getting into position to where then from here, I was basically going to just have her, I probably will make a separate keyframe, but I want to have her pull forward on her front legs with her other legs off the ground as kind of like a hopping motion so that she can fall into the seat in that position. So that's why this hoof right now is stationary the whole time. It is the pivot point that she's working from. I felt the only way to really get her to sit in any decent amount of time is to drop. Because otherwise I'd have to get each leg into its position and then slide them forward, which is going to look weird. If you think about how you would get into a seat like this, you're probably going to plop yourself in. So that's kind of what I'm going for. Well, here's the JoJo song. I don't even know the JoJo song. I know JoJo, but that's about that. I know nothing about it. Actually, I think the most I know about JoJo's Bizarre Adventures is one of my old roommates used to watch it. So like, that's about the most I learned from him. And then, which is nothing. And then anything that was in anthology. But that probably didn't tell me much either. So this is what I was kind of working on before, and then this is, I think, what was this one? I needed this for something. Oh, this is her standard position. So this is her, so this is her standing position where her legs are adjusted for the seat position. Well, this is her standard seat position. And the reason I have that separated is because, like, say when I'm lifting her leg up here, I probably have done some manipulation of the bone at this point to put it into some weird stretching, like actually grabbing the bones and pulling them into an elongated distance. I don't know how far I pulled them. So if I were to go and just bend the bones back in its normal position, the leg would now be extra long, and I don't want that. So I have it where once the leg lifts off the ground, I'll usually copy paste it from the original. So I have the original bone structure and the bone positioning, and then I'll readjust and bend the bones from there. It's kind of like a reset button on the bones, just so I don't, because if you keep doing keyframe after keyframe and you keep readjusting bones, eventually you're going to just be left with a skeleton that's in pieces. If you're only doing rotation, no, not really. But for any change of positions, it's just going to just morph the hell out of stuff. So I always have to have a reset, and that is what those are. But this is different if you have a rig. I'm just not using a rig because the pony rigs suck. So I'm going rigless.
So after some intense research I just did on my phone to figure out why Derpy Day was March 1st, I came to an amazing conclusion. Every day is Derpy Day. So there you go. Because it's best pony.
All right. So that means that every day is a day to torture Derpy.
It's very, very bad. Trying, I move. I do this. I'm ducking and weaving.
It's like, love getting me shit. Okay. So the one thing I have a problem with, like, these two right now is that her butt kind of, oh no, she does move. Cause like from here to here, you don't see much actual body movement. Like from the camera's perspective, this one you do. But I'm thinking that a lot of it from here to here, there is a lot of motion. It's just you don't really tell, or you can't really tell. So I'm basically working backwards in this. And the reason I'm working backwards is because I know where I want her to go, but I don't know where I want her to come from. And so I'm kind of just working backwards until I get to a position that I'm okay with. I'm okay with getting to a position where she's kind of just standing here, and then
You're not gonna have her climb up the tire?
I can't.
It would be really cute.
How do you climb that?
That's what for the pony to figure out.
No, that's for me to figure out. The problem is I can't actually have her climb the tire because, and I did talk about this like about 10 minutes ago.
You should have her climb.
No, because if I have her climb the tire, I'd have to have her jump because that's the only way to do that. But if I were to have somebody jump, and this is the surface that they were to jump onto, and you have 4 legs. If you were a person, I could figure it out. Actually, I could just record myself doing it. But being on a working with hooves, I would have to basically treat this like a cat would, where you would have to have the front legs here, and she would have to jump up, bring her back legs up to here, and right as they connect, use them to push her front legs forward to the next one. And then, by then she would just throw herself forward, probably past the seat. It would just be really difficult to do. It's easier and probably safer from the perspective of climbing to climb up the tire in the back. So that's what I'm doing. But I'm probably going to have it where she is not actually climbing from fully up the tire. I'm going to probably have a leg that's on the tire, but most of it is going to have her being where she is working her way up there. And if I need to readjust this to move it earlier, all the animation earlier and have it just sit there for a little longer, I can do that.
All I know is watching that pony climb is cute.
There's just solid pony physics. Well, no, it's because physics is the hardest thing to do right now because I don't have a physics engine. It used to be that SFM used to have a physics engine that was a mod that was added in, but the community that made it decided to stop supporting it due to updates breaking it constantly. I mean, there's no updates anymore, but they just stopped keeping up on it. So there is one that exists, but it doesn't quite work anymore. I think there was an old video I made.
Does it involve muffins?
Yes. No, it was these are extra. It was Derpy with muffins.
Yay.
It was a long time ago. I don't even know what I did with it anymore. But there was a thing with that allowed physics. Or I had some physics, so I had a bunch of muffins that exploded and stuff. And I just don't know what it was. I think these are all sorted by, they're all sorted by date. That's why. I think I just saw it. Yeah, right here. This was done using the actual physics engine within SFM. So this pile of muffins was done where I just created I took a bunch of muffins and I jammed them in together, and so the physics were clipping. They were touching each other, and when I enabled physics, they wanted to get away from each other. So when the physics kicked in, it just threw them, which is what happens here. So all that was an automated actual physics. So she's not actually pushing it. The muffins are pushing themselves. It just ended up kind of working out because there were tons of muffins everywhere.
It's so cute.
But her eyes were fine.
It's so cute.
So that was an engine that allowed physics. It just doesn't exist anymore. Or I bet you I still have it. I knew those. I like exploding muffins. Maybe not like the ones that kill you though.
Death muffins. We don't speak of death muffins.
I might have gotten rid of it. Oh no, okay, run SFM Fizz. So SFM Fizz was the actual bit for it, but I don't have it. Just doesn't fit it. But it would add a whole bunch of sliders and stuff to every bone on every model, and it didn't quite work for models though, or standard stuff for standard Fizz objects
static.
Yeah, static models. It would work for static models, but it wouldn't really work for boned models like ragdolling, because it just ended up doing ragdolling kind of... Well, I don't even think it really did like Gmod did. And even Gmod's ragdolling is a joke. Good morning from Germany, Argo. Hope you had a great day. I have had a great day, Zucker. I hope you're having a great... I mean, it's probably like, what, 1 a.m. for you? But I hope you're having a good day, too. So yes, we're gonna...
Sleep, dude. Sleep.
We're going to... So right now, I'm not worried about timing. I'm really just worried about... I'm just creating keyframes. So I'm just selecting a time behind here. So we're going to go out. That... It did not look right. There we go. And I am worried about when I actually blend these. Some of these motions, I do not feel are going to work. Mainly, it looks fine going from here to here. But as soon as I actually blend those, some of the bones, being I've done a lot of position changes, might, because it goes the quickest distance from A to B, and that might actually mean that it will disconnect from its parent bone and go back to it. That means a lot of adjusting and cleanup. Thankfully, when you're doing motion like this, it's quick, so it usually can just hide it.
Anybody else think this tractor needs a cup holder?
For what?
For holding a cup. Like, nobody, no self-respecting person is going to be driving around a tractor all day without a cup holder.
Okay, yes, I know that a cup holder holds a cup. It's in the goddamn name. You just reversed.
Yes. I mean, how else are you going to drink your beer while you're doing your job?
You know, I normally would be like, you shouldn't drink and drive, but this is probably Redneckville.
Oh, I mean, it's a tractor, so...
It's Oh, okay. It probably comes with a mini fridge.
Now that would be too fancy. But she needs place to place her juice box, so... Like, it would be cute if she had a cup holder with a juice box in it.
One of her feet is not...
Not gonna get my juice box, am I?
No. Why would she have a juice box?
It's a tractor. You're gonna have something.
Reason.
That is a good reason. You get it. If you get on a tractor, you better have something to drink. You're not gonna be there a while.
But why a juice box?
Because that's what ponies drink. Apple juice, especially.
No, you didn't say it's because of what ponies drink. I was saying, why would you have one if you were on?
It's what ponies crave.
No, like you're referencing something else here.
But now on your phones, Applejack should have a juice box on her tractor.
This bookmark was not locked, or not in the correct position, so I had to move it. Now, okay, now it locks it correctly, because it was not grabbing the correct position. Now, when I go across this, I don't notice any difference. So, okay. An apple holder? Like, wouldn't that just be like a stick?
This has a apple on a stick.
We should just got attached to the tires, and as it's going by, just grab the apple.
Right, it's like, well, Twilight, I invented me some science today too. Check out my latest invention, apple on a stick. Yeehaw!
It does sound like an Applejack thing.
You put the apple on the stick.
All right, so I need to move her backwards. Okay, I need to figure out where I'm going here. So this position has to have where one of these, her front right or her back left, have to make connection with something. Because they both make connection here, and for me to and the step before this have any other limb disconnect, she has to have a third limb on the ground. I can't lift up a limb and have it be 3 in the air. So, in this case, if I were to just judge based on where I'm looking, this arm is very far forward, and this leg is in the middle. Meaning, if I move her backwards and I decide that the front leg is going to stay still, or if I'm not going to have, or let's say I have the front leg make connection, that means that the front leg would need to make connection. Yeah, because I can't, if I move her further back that way and the front leg doesn't make connection in something, then I would have to go another frame to make the connection and then another one to disconnect. And that would be bad because then I would be moving 2 frames in this direction and I don't think I can stretch the arm that far, which means I have to have this right arm be the connection point. So if I were that arm, I'm probably going to connect. See if I can connect over here. So we're just going to move the butt like over here. I probably don't want to have this locked right now. And this one needs to stay locked. That is in the right hoof. I do not want to have locked. Okay. Voice impression. You're British for the next minute. What are you doing it, Adam?
No.
You're British.
All right. Apparently. Apparently, I'm British for the next minute. I gotta be British. God save the Queen and what? Pip pip cheerio. I'm very British. I'm so British. Like, incredibly British. This is something British people do.
Yes, give me copyright, thank you.
What am the British national anthem?
The playing of such.
I'm sorry. I would think the British national anthem is well to copyright, good sir. I believe
I don't know what that is.
I believe the British national anthem was several hundred years old. I'm fairly sure.
No, you remind me of the rock guy from what was it? The MCU.
Yes.
I'm just the rock.
I mean, absolutely. I'm incredibly British. I like my black pudding and my
Black is a color.
my pork pies and all right, I think that's been a minute. Was that
If I get a
proper?
copyright on that, I'm gonna be
If you
very
get a
angry.
copyright on that, I would also be incredibly surprised. That song has to be at least 300 years old.
Yeah, the song is, but the people that played it, the specific version of it, can. If it's played through here, I can shut it off. Yeah, why, Michael? Why? I agree. That was, I don't know what, that was not an accent.
It's being British. This is my British voice. I'm British.
No, like you're not. You weren't even using any British words. You weren't even saying "oi."
British what? Oi? I'm British.
You know what British people say all the time?
Hey, I'm British.
I'm so
Can you do that?
British.
Can you go to the mom and be like, hey man, I'm American.
Yeah. You know how British I am? I'm incredibly British. That's how British I am. very, very British.
You're so British that you have to let everybody know. That actually sounds British.
Yes. At least in America. Like,
It's the
hard to
American
hide it.
British.
Drink my tea and my crumpets.
Wait, do British people eat crumpets?
Yes, I believe they're what we refer to as English muffins.
I know, but like, when you were out there, was there?
I'm sure they had them as often as we have English muffins here.
But we don't have English muffins that often.
Well, we don't. I used to when I lived at home.
Because they were good, or because that was just part of biscuits and gravy? Did you have them for anything other than biscuits and gravy?
No, we just put butter on them. They
Because it was cheap,
for the
or
morning.
because-
It was quick. It was better than toast. You never had English muffins for breakfast?
No.
They're good.
Because I had cereal for most of my life.
Me too. But occasionally.
And then it got better.
And you got better. Cereal's really not good for you. Like,
No, it's a lot of sugar.
well, even Even if you get like the non-sugary one, it's still a lot of carbs first thing in the morning.
Yeah. For sure. I wasn't remember, like, it was quick. It was something that I could make myself. I didn't have to, my parents didn't have to, I mean, there's 4 kids. So they tended to just kind of go with whatever we could make ourselves for, like, to a certain age, anyway. Make it sound like Gordon from the TV show Bones. I do not know that show.
I don't know many shows. I'm British, and the American stereotype for British people is very inaccurate.
Oh yeah, trust. No, I can guarantee you that we are. That's why, if it was accurate, it probably wouldn't be a stereotype. Yes. So it is. But I can guarantee you that the British stereotype for America is pretty spot on.
Probably. But all of Americans' knowledge of Britain comes from the
Doctor
movie
Who.
Mary Poppins. I was going to say Mary Poppins.
Oh, it's Doctor Who now.
It's Doctor Who now. So you're all Time Lords and we're terrified.
Yeah, because that's the truth, isn't it? That everybody in Britain can travel through time.
I'm pretty sure they get picked up at random by a magnificent stranger in a police box.
I think that actually is too far.
I will say this about Britain. It's really hard to find tacos over there.
You know what's hard to find in Britain? Mexican food.
It's true. It's super easy to find a KFC, though. I think those are everywhere.
So there's some of this, like, I can see this leg's bent a little bit in a way that I don't like. So this is the default. So I can just go boom, and now it's back to its normal position, and now I don't have to worry. I am a little concerned though. So if I put the leg too close to this, when it blends, it's going to clip right there. I can kind of fix it afterwards, but it is going to clip. The other concern I have is distance. So as I move things, it's going to... there's timing between one position to the next. So if I go from here to here to here, that's pretty even distance. But the next step is going to be on the tractor wheel itself. And actually it's going to probably be like that. And if I think about the distance to that, it's not equivalent. It's not that far down, which means once I blend these, it's going to go and it's going to move slowly to that position and speed up after that. Thankfully with the leg is I can readjust the leg's speeds completely in post. Like, so between it landing on one position to the next position and the whole body moving, I can retime it between those whole positions. I probably will be. So I might not have to worry about it. But at this point, I'm not going to be able to get down to that position with where it is now. I don't want to have it be 2 legs, 2 legs, 2 legs, 2 legs. I want to have it be where it's like 1 leg and then just before another one hits to kind of mistime things a little bit. And hello, Soren. Good evening. Let me go ask Wizard about that quickly. Oh, you guys wrote a bunch of stuff. Do the cows from Change of Plans make a cameo? Not in here. Well, I mean, it's just Yona. I mean, I could make a reference. I kind of like doing that to past videos. I could, actually. I have to figure out what to put in the background right now, because I probably will need cows, and there is no... there's no...
The closest thing you have is Arizona.
Is there any MLP cows?
Yeah, the show. I don't know.
Well, I know that, but in SFM,
I think we looked pretty hard when we were making that video and we couldn't find any. We had Arizona, and then we went with Yona.
Well, no, Yona was the joke. She is for sure. I don't, but no, I think.
I looked.
No, I don't think it was that. I think we were trying to make Arizona work, but.
Arizona's a cute cow.
How are you?
And
I
she's
am
done
doing
the
pretty
same
well.
styles.
How are you doing? I hope you're having a lovely Tuesday. Nitro Tractor? Maybe. Alright, so we need to move this leg forward. So this is already stretching pretty bad.
You could put rare cow. Apparently that's a thing.
Yeah, so see, this is already stretching probably more than I'd want, which means I'm going to have to bring this back a little bit. which is probably fine because, like I said, I had that distance issue, so this will probably help solve that distance issue a little bit. I think, is that... Well, let me see. Where is our chest 2? Our chest 2's already churned. Because normally you churn this a little bit this way. It kind of makes it difficult in post in some of the work, but it will help extend the distance a little bit. But this is normally like here. So this is already stretched a little bit. I think I'm going to keep it because, again, I think it should be fine. But yeah, now I need to get this arm down, and this is going to be the tough part. Trying to work around everything. I mean, this is where one of those reasons that I mentioned that a while back, that working with 2 legs is kind of easier. Just because when you're interacting with the ground, you have only 2 points of contact, and everything else is floppy above. You have to deal with physics then of like how those things would actually interact within the environment. But the actual act of animating it in terms of like this portion of it is just easier. And the rigs are better for now.
My suggestion, don't type in MLP Cal source filmmaker. Go with Arizona. Because the internet's a weird place.
You know how the internet works? When you tell people not to do something,
don't do it.
Yeah, so you just don't say it.
Well, you're not going to do it. I can't control the people watching.
But now you said it.
What, now you want to do it?
No, you said it.
Yeah.
It's like you're not thinking about pineapples.
Okay, but now I'm thinking about pens because that pineapple pen thing.
Yeah, but that
involves... Now I'm thinking about pens, and now I'm just thinking about the pens at work. Because I have ADHD like crazy.
It makes
so
my brain hurt.
Yeah. Apples.
Yeah, deal with this every day.
Ponies.
Hello, Ekmo. I am fond of your funny gifts. The ones I put. I made that. So the apple bloom one. She's actually. She's right. Where is she? She's right here.
It's right there. She's fine. She just found some of the antifreeze that leaked out of the tractor, and
she's totally fine. She's freaking out a little bit, but she's fine. No, those are kind of fun to make. But the ones I post on YouTube and stuff, I usually try to make it for like 15 to 20 minutes from like the whole process, which is super quick. But
somebody just called you Damon. Hello, Damon.
Yeah.
You're Damon. It's all for you, Damon.
I've been called that many, many times.
Just Damon?
Yeah.
Really? Should I be concerned?
No.
Okay. Because I saw the omen.
It's part of the name. I think I might just do it like that. Yeah, because I think when he pushes off, I'm doing it in reverse is a little weird.
I told you not to do it.
You should make advice. Damn curiosity got me in trouble. I end up seeing things once. See, this is
you told him not to do it, but in doing so, it makes people do things.
I can't control people not taking my advice.
You can't. You could control shutting the hell up.
I give only good advice.
I bet.
Mm-hmm.
Here's computer science, so she worked for Apple. AJ tractor driver. Yep, she's working her way on there. This is the hard part. Getting somebody to move on an uneven surface is complex. I like these ones, like this part, where you have somebody walk, and they're on a flat surface. And they're great because you don't have to make them move at all, or you don't have to interact with anything. You just copy paste somebody else's work or something that you've already made before, and voila, you're done. But this is something you have to make very, very custom to the exact scene. So getting this I knew was gonna, but kind of doing something weird there, but this is very much one of the this and one other part are the ones that I knew would take the longest.
It is super cute though. Watching her climb up the tractor. Watching her climb around and stuff is pretty cute. She's like a cat.
Okay, I think I can call that good. The one thing I am a little bit concerned about is her. If she lifts off the front leg, she has now balanced both legs on one side, which is usually, depending on how you do it, pretty fine. The nice thing is this leg is technically pulled in, so it's centering herself, because you got to worry about center of gravity. And you can throw off your center of gravity as long as you are falling into your next point, and so it just depends on timing after that. Hello, Brony. You got this. You got to mute it for reasons. Okay, so I can say whatever I want. Okay. But you're here to lurk. That is fine. I lurk all the time. I'm lurking now. So going to the bathroom actually saved me from curiosity. Nice. Good. Stay. Don't be curious. Maybe.
Curiosity.
Where is Aku? Aku has got. I haven't loaded the Aku model forever. I think I can go one more here, because right now it feels like the timing is fine with this. But when you actually start blending things, there's a lot more motion going on, and I think this might be really quick. Because if you think about it, it's literally from here to here is 1 second. So that is quite a lot of time. But I wanted to have her butt hit the seat when she says do. Okay. So we need to do one more keyframe.
I would think it'd be pretty hard to flip a tractor like that with the big wheels. But I mean,
the front wheels tip, the tractor flips over, throwing the driver. Well, no. Have you ever seen?
I've seen those cars. They don't have those big back wheels.
Yeah. But if you were to, but where's the engine? Where is the most of the weight?
In front.
It's probably on the front right here. So if you were on any type of hill, it's probably going to tip. Unless this is super strong, I could see that bending over time and just.
Well, I would say that if you're using the tractor, it's probably got something strapped to the back of it, so it's going to be pretty heavy in the back.
Yeah, but you're not going to have it like locked in. It's going to be through this single point that's going to rotate.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to be heavy in the back, but as soon as anything in here lifts up, it's just going to lift from that point as a pivot point. If this was connected through multiple points, maybe, but it's through a single point. No, I can see this definitely having some issues, but it's normally I don't think you're expecting to have like super rounded fields or anything.
Not many tractors like that anymore, anyways.
No, they don't.
In front.
She's building Bob. Yes.
She's building him.
From Oklahoma, I've heard the stories from farmers and ranchers. Yeah, no, I'm not surprised. This is a mega tractor. Poor AJ let her drive this. No, she's going to drive. She's going to go pretty crazy. She's going to go ham.
Even though she doesn't have any apple juice.
She's going to the extreme. I still have to. I haven't done those shots yet because I wanted to get a lot of these figured out first, but so that I can start doing some different steps of the process instead of like all of one and then all of the next. I like jumping around a lot of like, hey, I'm gonna do cleanup now, or I'm gonna do lip syncing now. Well, she has no apple juice. That's why she's kind of crazy.
That would drive.
We're not. You know, speaking of juice. Yes. It's 7 o'clock, Michael. Do you need Google? So I'll do one more keyframe. And so this is going to be where I want to have her basically pulling herself up. So this is going to be gone. This one is not locked, but it will be. This one needs to be locked now. And this one will stay locked too. Alice Wren. I don't have any. I've never seen a Specs one. I wanted to grab my drink like there was supposed to be one there. How much that? That actually reminds me to. Mr. Thanks for bringing up a question. If anybody has any questions or is curious about how something works in SFM, or they want to see something from previous animation on how I did something because they're curious in some of the works that they've done, or they're just curious, I don't care. If you have any questions or anything, that is the point of the stream. Feel free to ask. We'll take the time to answer them. That is number one priority over working on my own stuff. So if you have any questions, let me know. Don't mind answering. They have a torque, and with additional weight in the back, they can pop wheelies. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Those tires got to be heavy. How you make Twilight fight scene on Full Metal Pony, and how can camera work on that scene? I will actually open that one. That one was complex. That was probably one of the first scenes I did in that video. I have a rule when I'm working on, I think it's this one. When I'm making a video, to start with the hard stuff, because you could usually determine whether or not I'm going to be able to do something. In this case, with the thank you, I got it. With Applejack here, well, this is the hardest part of the scene. I knew I was doable, so I wasn't worried about it.
I was out of Dr. Pepper.
What'd you put in there instead?
Sprite. It's rum and Sprite, though.
Oh,
Whiskey and
okay.
Sprite, so
Yeah,
it's
whiskey and
a
Sprite
little
might be a little weird.
Whiskey and rum and Sprite's good. Whiskey and Sprite.
Okay. So yeah, I was pretty sure there's going to be some errors here. I can't play the music because that's going to be copyrighted for sure. So I think I did keep her keyframes. I knew that this one was going to be one that people would have questions on. And hello, Novinator. Welcome. Novinator, little bro back. All lowercase, but I figured it out. How long will the other video be? Probably only like another 10 seconds afterwards. I'm just going to go a few shots at the end. It kind of depends if I'm having fun with it or not.
2 years later.
Yeah, that's great.
That scope creeps in.
No, this one I would consider I'm about 40% done with the video. I wanted to have it done this week, but for some of the other stuff I've been working on, trying to get set so that can take over its own thing, I've been doing other stuff nonstop.
Well, we have to follow it through to see what it's like with Applejack's life in the big city where she drives her tractor to and gets a job as a waitress at a restaurant. And she falls into a relationship and gets a job with a big realty firm after. You gotta animate all of this. It's gonna take a while.
No.
Where she finally gets her apple juice.
Anyway, so for this scene, this is the one you're talking about. So and it's going to look like crap here. And ignore the glowing background. It's just because of how this stuff is set up. And I'm going to have to try to remember based on what I think I can remember. From what I remember doing was that there were supposed to be some tentacles that were coming out and like trying to like attack or whatever. And you're basing it on an animated that's a much lower frame rate for this. And so I was trying to interpolate however I could. Having her interact with some flying object that was coming at the camera would be very difficult. So instead, I had her ghost box. And so I had her essentially animated to do this. So essentially she was made to just attack nothing. I then just made assumptions that whatever it is they had her attacking, I could then add in to match whatever it was she was doing. It made it easier that way.
She should just fly for a while.
That was actually how it was in the final. So, and the idea was that you can imagine some ground potentially there. That background is so bad, but it's jumping, but it literally doesn't matter because it's moving so fast. It's just a blur. So I really didn't care. So the nice thing about this though, is that the camera, is a non-issue. it is literally not moving. So everything that's in this scene is moving past her. She is not moving at all. So in terms of camera work, the camera is essentially just doing what it can to follow, but it is stationary. I am on the work camera right now. She is not moving at all. It was scenes like this that I kind of want to record it in 60 frames per second, but it just didn't look right.
Was there ever a scene in this that was basically supposed to be her father? Like in Full Metal Alchemist, I know it's
that's
I'm curious.
That's these.
Also, use Celestia.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And a little tidbit. So here's Celestia, and she's just kind of chilling there. She's also smoking a cigarette. That was in the render. It just wasn't visible. Anyway, so how much longer do you think this second channel is out? For those that don't know, I am working on a second channel for hot stream stuff. That hopefully the estimate right now I have is probably 2 to 3 weeks. 2 to 3. I'm hoping 2 weeks for patrons and 3 to 4 weeks for probably everybody else.
Get excited because there's a channel all about derpy.
The reason for the difference is that if you're going to put out something new, you want to have content there, and in more than one. So the idea is I want to have 2 to 3 videos that are already there and ready. So that's going to take a little bit more time. Having the channel ready to go probably would take about less than 2 weeks. And then trying to get in whenever our first video hits, I'm going to put that for patrons and Twitch subs. Well, Twitch tier 2 anyway. So it's going to be for those groups to see. But once until I have 2 to 3, I'm not going to advertise to anybody else that the channel exists. There'll be public videos. No, they'll probably be unlisted. Actually, I'll probably keep them unlisted just because. From YouTube's perspective, the day that a video releases, the day that things are promoted the most. So I'm going to have those released. I'm going to advertise to everywhere else that this channel exists and push everybody there. So 2 to 4 weeks for public access. And the reason for second channel is to separate my main channel to be animation, completed animations, and all the highlights and other minor stuff would be put on a second channel. Second channel will probably have content much more often, but it will not also be made by me.
Is that where you're going to upload game stuff?
Yeah, game stuff, stream highlights, all the secondary content is going to be there. And then my main channel will just be animations. So I do have here, these are the keyframe Sparkle. I actually named her Edward Sparkle.
That's wonderful.
Let me get rid of the trees here. So, one thing you're going to notice is the automail is broken. So the one thing with this is the model, it's 2 separate models that I had to animate individually because of how things were working, and that was really annoying. Really, it complicated things a lot. But these are all the keyframes. And so you see there's a lot of keyframes. This was every 2 or this file I think is still running at 60.
She's missing a leg, and this makes me sad.
This is still running at 60, so technically this is every 3 frames essentially. So I would just do keyframes. So I had her go from like coming down, being battle pose, some kind of land, then spinning for the kick. You know, it's let me remove this background too. There. So a lot of I'll even just let's make the camera stationary too. So she comes down, she does a little spin kick, she does a flip, she gets hit, and then she lands, jumps back in, swings again, does a little flippy thing, and hits again, and then gets knocked backwards. And then a lot of this, there was not much actual secondary animation. A lot of this was just...
Oh, you can?
Mm-hmm.
On the mechanical leg, you can see Blackjack's cutie mark.
Yeah, on this version, because I had to remove that cutie mark for when I actually needed to use it for Blackjack's purpose. I had the texture was actually overridden to make it look like Twilight's cutie mark in this video.
In the final?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Because I was going to say, I never saw it in the final if it is on there.
So here you can actually see her come down then, do her actual thing. But the tentacle was then added in later. So here I basically just had any tentacles come up that would interact with her in ways that she could actually hit. So here she's like, bam, like, bam, and then she gets hit, she falls, she comes back, punches that one away, she's like, get away from me, bad. And then she comes back, she punches that one, then she gets hit again. So the choreography wasn't about like one-on-one action, it was more of her punching nothingness and then me adding in something to the nothingness. And it worked actually pretty well. So to where it actually made some decent action. I wouldn't say it was like the best work, but it was a lot of keyframing.
You said it before, like making action scenes like this one is mostly took a very, very, very long time.
The nice thing was it was no ground interaction. So it was a lot easier because that ground interaction is where it's tough because if you interact with something, you have to touch it and you have to stay 100% still, or your physics are tied to its physics. And so then like when you're interacting with it, now suddenly you're a single unit, but as soon as you disconnect, you're separate units and you have to have the engine know when at what times you are a single unit. That's where it gets complicated. I had a similar amount of complexity with this one because he's doing his jumpy jumps. He had to jump out of the way here, and then he had to jump out of the way again.
And just imagining that he's also trapped in his armor, just like Alphonse was, except it's not because his soul's trapped to it, it's just because the zipper broke. He's like, I can't take it off.
Well, that's why I kept him in the armor, because he's shining armor, so these kind of made sense. So yeah, the nice thing was though, so it took a little bit to get the jump done, right? But then I just reused his jump from here to here again. They're the same jump essentially, and then I could just continue using the same animation here.
Did you think about using Steel Hooves model in this, or was it always pretty much your?
It was always going to be this.
Okay.
Because it wasn't about making the exact character. It wasn't to be like saying try to put as many elements into. It was to just inject things in that kind of work. Shining Arbor and Twilight just worked together because they were siblings, and he was the older one, and he was also Edward. Anyways, ended up with Shining Armor, kind of made sense. The only difficult part was, and here, I don't have the no, I have to turn the lights on. There's actual, all the lights actually turn negative, like for the beginning there. This one was also tough, trying to animate Rarity jumping.
Oh, that's Rarity?
Yeah. She was supposed to be, Greed. But getting this to jump, like having Nightmare Moon actually move correctly, those I thought were going to be tough, but actually weren't that bad.
I always like that train scene with Trixie.
Oh no, I'm thinking about this scene right here. So I'm not in the right map for this, but in this scene, technically, this was supposed to be Edward, this was supposed to be Edward, and this was supposed to be Al. I swapped it in the final because in here, Twilight was supposed to have an interaction with some kind of a small creature that had shown up, which came up to Al. Shining Armor doesn't have such. Twilight does.
He has Flurry Heart.
And another small little friend, for Edward, or from Al, it was the small Asian girl, I can't remember her name, that comes up there, and that was the panda. So those two just worked perfect for that scene. But for these two, Flurry Heart didn't exist when I made this.
All right.
So
she was still sparkle in his eye.
And then for Edwards, it was love interest. So in here it worked better putting Al's character in that position to do her. I actually went into so much detail. If you actually look in the final, these trees are actually exactly in the same positions. There's 3 here at this angle. There's 3 of these different angles here. I went into a ton of detail for this. Though there was an error in this one that I'm not liking so much.
I like the field of error symbols. That's my favorite part. Errors as far as the eye can see. Whatever.
But I hope that at least answered your question in terms of the fight scene for that. I don't think there was any other real fight scenes.
Took him a whole 2 weeks to make this video.
This was actually made before Remembrance, and this thing right here was made for Remembrance by Bearded Doom Guy, but I needed some kind of an exploding doorway, and I decided that the only thing that I had that actually exploded was that model he made for Remembrance, and so I just used that, and it worked. The lights are off, so normally they would be obscured by volumetric light. So here you can actually see it explode, and then the volumetric light would have gotten brighter on these edges, and they all moved away, and you wouldn't have been able to see them. All right, yeah, I hope that answered your question then. Let me see if I can catch up on anybody's. How long? I answered them. How long the video will be? How much longer do you think it will take to say to answer that one? She loves to go muddings. Or truck is always covered in mud. Her dad came and borrowed her truck while she was at work and gave it a wash before trying to get to the parking lot. Probably out of context there, but sure. We're talking about Derpy, or is that Applejack?
I think it's Applejack.
Maybe, but it's her dad.
Applejack's dad is. He is.
Oh, reminds me. Oh, you're talking about the person from work. Okay.
They sold him to buy the tractor.
Couldn't recognize her own truck. A lot of blue statues in the background. Yeah, that's the errors. This was made a long time ago, and I always constantly changing and enabling certain, re-enabling and disabling certain models to try to save the library space, and I'm constantly changing textures. So it just, things go on and off all the time. Like here, you're not going to see the actual ground textures because that was a readjustment of a green screen texture, and I've disabled that since then. There is one interesting thing here. Negative shadow. So this is an actual filter that I put in the engine to actually make it black and white. Normally I would not need, why would you need to do that? You can do that in post. I really did it here because some of the lighting here, like this looks a lot darker, but as soon as you do it black and white, it actually brightens it up a lot. So I actually rendered it out in black and white so that I could tell that complexity of lighting. But this is, to do this negative light bit, there's a second model of him basically doing the exact same things. There. The same positioning, just at a different angle. And I have a negative light actually shined at him through here. And since it's a negative light, the negative light isn't going to make, it's not going to create light, it's going to create darkness. And so I have a normal light shined at this wall, and then the negative light is removing some of that light and leaving a shadow of positive light. So in essence, it's just in complete inversion, because in the post, or in actual anime, that was I would call it a positive shadow. It was an actual lit shadow. Thanks for the follow, Crispy Crunch. Sounds delicious.
It's so good.
So that's kind of what these are. So you can actually see here the actual real shadow, and then her negative shadow.
She has both of her limbs in that shot. She has all of her limbs in this shot, right?
Yeah, because this is when they're losing them technically.
Yeah, but like the context of like her losing her limbs and then just going over to like Alphonse, and the zipper on his armor disappears. It's like, no, this is far worse than you think. Yeah, Derpy. She's so good. So cool. She rode off.
It's supposed to like be annoying for you.
Yeah,
and then
no.
you're like,
yes, but it's a Derpy. And then it's just like, I rode through the stream on a horse with no name. And it's just great. Yeah, if you like the behind the scenes stuff, I don't mind showing this stuff.
it just takes it just comes up with people asking about it. If I can open it, like Luna's Banishment, I can't open half that file anymore. It is corrupted, so that is basically gone. This one. Let me see if this still works. I'm guessing it's not going to.
Well, I live in Canada now, Sunset, so we're in Canada. Full Metal Pony.
Oh, So this one. This one I'm pretty sure is not going to work. There it is. Okay, so that's the light for that. This one would be complex to try to figure out how to get working again. Essentially what I did for this though was there is a in the actual post, I should show you exactly what it is I'm talking about. I started this by date because I only care about the new stuff. Here we go. So in the actual post, you'll see this effect. This actual effect of it coming in is not in After Effects. That was done in SFM. So like this like melding in of the pentagon. This was actually in SFM. I was trying to do as much of this in the engine as I could because it's a lot of people like, I don't know how to use After Effects. I don't know how to use these programs. And so I like being able to say, you don't need to. You do it all here. So I was trying to figure out, like, how do I get that effect to work in SFM? It took me a while. It's probably one of my proudest problem-solving moments.
Did you just have an uneven ground and you lift the symbol up through
it? Kind of. So right here, we have, apparently there's a missing texture, but this is a water model that you can get. And the water model has a bunch of like little wavy pieces in the middle of it, like a bunch of bones. So what I ended up doing was I changed a bunch of the properties with it so that it could take or could cast shadows, because otherwise normally it wouldn't. It would just, light would go right through it. So I changed some of the properties so that it would take shadows, and then I added, or I just threw a bunch of like jitter all over the water so that it kind of threw all of it into these weird spiky angles. What that ended up doing though was allowed me to take this light, which is right here. You can't see the Frostrum. I thought I enabled it. Oh, I think that's right there. Oh, no, that's still not showing. Whatever. So, and what I did was I found right at the angle where it started the light, and I basically just started it far enough back so that all of it was obscured, and then I slowly pushed the light forward. So light is a negative light that is creating a negative outline of this pentagon, which is what you can actually see right here, that effect. But because it was behind an object, it was obscured, and so it didn't cast through. But then as I pushed the light forward and its starting point for the light started to hit that water area, parts of it started to leak through in different spots. And so I kept hitting jitter on that water in the background until I found something that looked splotchy, because it was actually not always that good looking. And then once I found something that worked, I spread it out, and then I just pushed it through until the whole thing became visible. You can't do this too.
Cool.
I'm a big boy.
Rograz Diamond and Neo, Michael here has given you a gift. And thanks for the follow, Bam Bam Bamboos. It's actually really fun to say. Change the light mode. That's evil. Well, thanks for the follow too, Light Moonlight 2015. Thank you very much. No, but that's how I got that effect going. Was the is kind of that like. So I was using a liquid texture, thrown to some extremes, to kind of obscure it and have it meld through. And I'm actually really happy with how that effect turned out. And the actual change to this point, the reason that this still looks correct is because I really haven't had a need to change some of the textures on this, so I just kind of left it. These are actual textures. When this actually backs off in the post here, that actually is After Effects letters that come in over that. So that is cheating. But I really didn't have a choice. That actually, as far as I know, says Full Metal, and then I believe this is Pony. Somebody in one of the streams one time knew Chinese or something, or Japanese, and provided me the actual wording for it. So as far as I know, that actually, I haven't tested it, but that should actually say Full Metal Pony. Hello, Light Moon. The mega symbol is the same as a horseshoe. Well, yeah, I guess. Is there anything else? Oh, so here's another weird thing for this video. Okay, let me get rid of particles here. I'm gonna have to open the map. But anyways, so these are actually negative lights as well. So all I did, each of these is a single negative light that is just set to be very close to the surface. And by being a negative light, I mean that it's a light you shine that darkens things. And so it's essentially just every time he takes a step, I just enable one of those lights to create a false step in the sand. So it is just an illusion. It's not an actual indentation or changing of lighting. It is literally just me darkening that spot in some way. To actually create a lot of this effect that I needed, though, with this bright light and this dark light over here, there is an actual volumetric gold light over here, and there's a volumetric negative light over here. That's why some of this lighting looks a little... let me move it so it's out of camera's way. That's why the lighting looks a little weird, because it's not just... it's not just... a negative light doesn't just remove light. It's really weird how it works, and so it ends up being a very high contrast coloring, so that's why it kind of looks a little bit weird on it, but it did the effect I needed it to, so that's fine. This one sucked. I wonder how it looks here. Yeah, okay, so this is actually how basically it is. To get this shot done, because if you actually look at this, well, thank you, Luna. I'm going to go sleep now. Well, good night. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Hope you have good dreams of whatever. What do people dream about? Like, we don't listen to Michael. Like, dream about like winning a lottery or something.
That's boring.
I dreamed the other night about being in college again.
Really?
I don't know. It was weird. So no, for this shot though, the actual background, it was done in After Effects. So I was mainly about having a consistent texture that was moving over it. So I just needed a way to obscure the background. That was it. But I still needed a shadow. So I'll dream about.
There you go. There you go, Luna.
Footsteps are a lie. You've been bamboozled. Well, I'm sorry. You can reject your footsteps. So I needed a shadow here, so I still needed a shadow cast even on a green screen. And so that's essentially what was done here. Oops.
I don't think I've ever had a dream about Derpy. It makes me sad.
And it's so I think with how this is set up right now, because of the green screens are not set up to actually show any of that stuff. But I had this green screen set up to accept lighting. So I had to play with the lighting heavily to make it so I could see the shadows, but everything else was balanced enough that it would be obscured when I did key lights in post, and still made a transparent shadow. In doing so, though, it made the eyes extremely bright, like to get all the lighting in that I needed to make it bright enough. So a lot of these eyes are just absolutely glowing. They ignored Twilight's like weird eye texture there because that was a different thing. So to balance that out, I actually modified the eye texture itself to reduce the brightness and to offset it. And it wasn't exactly perfect. I wasn't 100% happy with it. They're still pretty bright, but because like you see it's very sharp, but it ended up getting the point across. And then to have the eye come up through here, it literally just comes up through the green screen. This is like one of the ones from what do you call it?
The Alashai.
TF2.
Oh, TF2.
I used the same thing. It was a TF2 eye monster. Is there anything else goofy in this video?
Well, it is.
This moon is very close.
I like that moon. Wow. It's a really good texture.
This?
Yeah.
Yeah, that moon's been downloadable for a long time.
I've seen that texture used elsewhere.
Well, it just worked perfect because it was a moon, and then it was Nightmare Moon, and there were so many situations in here where like the perfect situation existed. Mm-hmm. This one was actually really complicated to do, just because like I needed to make sure the volumetrics came down, but if it went down too far, I was going to obscure everything. So like getting the shadows and everything. Oh my god, some of these shots are really complicated. Oh, this in actual After Effects, I did do some bonus stuff. Oh, don't even get me started on that shot.
But isn't your OC in that shot?
Yes. So in here, there's actual After Effects. So here, like you can see, he's actually like duplicated. I actually used After Effects to do a distortion effect, and it helped a lot. I really like how that turned out. But yeah, okay. This shot.
Where's Derpy? Oh, there she is. She's in the Wonderbolt outfit.
Yes.
Yay, Derpy.
So everybody in this shot up to about here is based on a character or a representation of somebody from the show. Like, so a lot of their different characters are spread around based on need.
Who's Derpy? It's a very important question.
I can't remember. Armstrong, maybe. So once it hit this point, though, it was a completely different story. I didn't care. A lot of these are replications of ponies going into the background. There's only like 6 or 8 unique ponies after that, other than like a Kid Blackjack over here.
Is there a second Derpy in there somewhere?
This colored like Pip, but I don't think. No, that's not.
Nah, it's a Pegasus.
I think there's another one hidden back here. Maybe that's her or something. I put me here. Just for fun, because I needed somebody to be there. But doing this whole shot sucked, because there's so many characters in the shot that I literally couldn't even put it in the final.
I do kind of feel
That's why here, this says, massive everyone shot, external render. The amount of RAM that this single shot took up was equivalent to all the rest, because they were all so much memory to have.
Go back to that shot. Is it just me, stream, or does everybody seem like they're gathered around Derpy? Because it does kind of like seem like she's the focal point in this shot. Is that a mistake? Or...
I don't even know which one that represents.
Yes, but everyone is clearly like, she's the focal point of the shot. She's the best horse.
I'm going to have to take this video down. No, so this one just took up so much memory that I had to render it separately, and I had to render it in pieces. So I had to render it each time with every individual character, and because these are meant to fade. So as soon as they churn, you can see these actual characters fade in. To do that, I had to have a render without them, and then a render with them, and then I had to fade between them. So there was a lot of different fades. And then when I got to this one, I just did a mask that went outwards. But to go that far into the distance and everything, this was a very complicated shot. And for how long it was very... I mean, they're all just standing there. Like, I didn't even put any detail in them. A lot of them aren't even looking. They're literally in their default pose. I just didn't care. But trying to get them all lit so that all their shadows cast that direction was actually more complicated than it sounds like. There was lots of different lights everywhere to get them all cast in there. This was complicated, but it turned out really cool. So... that's fine.
I like how you shipped Big Mac and Cheerilee.
But that was back when the other one didn't exist.
Yeah, but it's just like you were shipping.
No, that was in that shot. It was supposed to be the big beefy husband and the wife.
You shipped them.
So the big beefy husband worked best to have Big Mac, and then Cheerilee was the only one at the time.
Yeah.
Shipping is when the fandom comes up with a relationship. The show gave the relationship.
They legit like put the Phillies in a little boat in that episode, like because they were shippers.
You stop support. But yet the whole thing, it's been trying to find it for 100 reviews. Actually, what was it? I think Game Theory did a whole thing on that and found that they were slightly off, actually. Like, actually quite a bit. That's why they probably, like, made a monstrosity. Not Game Theory, Film Theory, sorry. Anyway, alright, so that's enough on that video. It's probably gonna crash and be going back to the other one now. Actually, maybe not. It's deloading a lot of stuff. But yeah, hope that answered any questions people had on that. Sometimes it's interesting to go back to some of those because I forget about like certain things I did to make certain things work. What are we doing here? I just split it. What? What is it?
Nothing. I was just watching the screen.
I feel like something, like, what'd you do?
I don't know. Play the screen again.
The butt wiggle.
It's going crazy.
That's because the bones are jumping, so it doesn't know what to do.
It's just like... It's like... It's gonna have that sound effect. Just... Wom, wom, wom. It's like the TARDIS.
There you go, Michael.
No.
Is it
It's
better?
out of control.
Oh, it looks fine to me.
It's like it's trying to fly away. Her apples are trying to escape.
I don't think she had apples for lunch.
and her entire... I just imagine she just has wicked bad gas. It's just... His cheeks is just like a big old.
I think she needs to see a doctor if she's got that kind of.
She doesn't believe in doctors.
If you got gas enough where it is literally deforming your own body upon explanation,
Like an apple a day keeps the doctor away.
Unless you're blowing a hole in the wall.
It's all the medicine the apple family needs is apple.
doctor's gonna be like, you have to diversify your diet, eat vegetables.
Keep throwing apples at the doctor.
Like, Applejack, what do you eat for vegetables? Well, I eat the stem of an apple.
That's a vegetable, kind of.
I gnaw on the bark sometimes.
Hey, man, horses will do that. We lost some pear trees to some horses eating the bark.
It's like
Don't do it.
Applejack goes to an intervention. Like, they're like, Applejack, we know about your problem, and she's just like sitting there just rolling up her apple bark.
Me and a tree. No. He's like, if I eat enough trees, I might become a tree.
She can be like, legalize bark. Intravenous, like injection of apple seeds or something. Oh my god, I don't think I can get this leg up here.
The horse climb.
Oh, this is gonna. I didn't even think about that. This is gonna be the difficult one. I have to get this leg bent up here. This is gonna be like up here.
It's working. That looks good. You're only gonna see it from the one side.
Yeah, but I still have
And
to.
still-
Yeah, I guess I can clip a little bit here, but I have to be careful because I can't. This part of it. I can bring a lot of these in, but if I extend this too far into the hoof, it looks weird in terms of its sizing. So I really have to be careful on this. But if I do it too much, it might not look right in when I actually blend it. So this rotation of the butt to give it that angle is also the concern, because as soon as I blend this, it might not run correctly. All right, so this one now needs to actually touch the ground. So like between this and this, all right, I need to, I think, go in with this. I need to make sure I've got a fresh butt. Don't break AJ's hooves. It's part of the process. You got to break things to make things. I like that. Actually.
Argadamon Breaking Ponies 2021.
Okay, so now I got her like that. We're gonna turn it a little bit. Bring it in a little bit.
I did see they made some models of the new characters for Source Filmmaker.
Did they?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't paid attention. Like, that's the one thing that's tough with animation is that normally you kind of want to chase trends. So, like, when the new movie stuff came out, it's like, I want to make some movie stuff. The problem is that it's relevant for like a week, and you're usually in the middle of something. So if you chase trends when you do animation, especially animation that take a while, you're never going to make anything. And so that's tough because that is, if you chase trends, that is where you get the most amount of viewership, but it is so hard because of how fast you have to turn stuff around.
I do have to imagine any animations right now with the new characters from the new generation are going to be pretty popular.
Yeah, but that's the problem of how, if I do. And it's not just about now, but let's say that every time something new came out, I went and took the time to make something out of it. How do you keep up with that? Because, like, say 1 week something is new, and then next week something else is new, but I haven't finished the previous one. Now something else is new, so I got it's just weird. And unless you want to make ultra low quality to just get something out in a couple days, you are stuck. You are stuck just continuing whatever you're working on. So it's chasing trends annoys me for that purpose. Not that it annoys me, but it's the most beneficial thing you can make, but it is the hardest thing to do when you're working in a medium like animation. But that is why I want to expand a little bit, so that I can have other stuff to jump into, because the one thing that's difficult with ponies is that I just don't have a good rig to work with. I am restricted to...
There is a few different rigs for ponies.
No, not models, rigs.
Yeah. I got 2 on my computer upstairs.
I know, I have the best rigs you can download.
Okay.
And they don't work how I want them to.
Okay.
Because the front legs collapse on their use. And like say on here, when I want to on this, I need to stretch this arm further than it actually stretches. I can't do that with a rig. It is actually impossible. The rigs are not built to stretch beyond their actual maximum. So then I'm restricted. So it comes down to, which do I want to have? Do I want to live with the restrictions, or do I want to have the flexibility to do what I want? And I'm just, I'd rather have the flexibility. But like Rathalos and stuff has a really good rig, but also he has 2 legs on the ground. That's where it makes his stuff a lot easier.
Also, he doesn't like juice, so... No, like dragons don't like juice.
I just realized that this pose right here should have... I need to turn the body a little bit, so that's not breaking the front leg so much to get to that position. Okay. I have a feeling this is going to be a mess when I actually blend it. And as I blend some of these motions, I'm going to have to actually unlock and relock other different pieces of the bone. Like when I'm going between these 2 poses, I want to make sure this bone is locked. But I'm going between these 2, I want to make sure it's unlocked. Because otherwise it's not going to work right.
I know this is asking a lot, but is there a chance that you could like have her
Derpy?
No, not Derpy, just have her like kind of struggling to get up on the tire.
I thought about doing that, but to do struggling would mean that I would have to. That's a lot of extra work.
Yeah, that's why I said I know it's a lot of extra work, but it would also be.
It would be hours more for just a single.
Adorable.
Yeah.
The problem is any little bit that takes much that much longer means that I could have just made more content in that time. So I'm trying to strike a balance.
Well, can you just like loop something where she like loses her footing and then she has to regain it?
No, because if you lose your footing, when you lose your footing, you're probably going to drop to a certain position and then have to recover from that position.
Mm-hmm.
You're looking at probably me making multiple keyframes every frame. So no, I'm not doing that. Because it's either that's where it comes down to. Do you want a video every year or a video every couple weeks? And when you're trying to build a channel, you have to make the hard choice of, I am not doing every year.
Cuteness sacrificed.
Yep. It's where I have to call it good enough because there's no way I can. That's what happened. During 2019, I almost put nothing out. Because I was working on other stuff. I was working on stuff constantly, but then the channel actually got completely cut from YouTube's algorithm, completely dived, and actually lost a lot of stuff just because I was spending time working on stuff. And so I'm trying not to do that, but in doing so, to please YouTube, I have to sacrifice other things. Eventually, I want to get to the point where I can actually bring on other people to kind of help out with stuff, but I am not able to afford that at the time. So eventually, maybe. But as of right now, I am only able to do as much as I can do, and which is right now every moment of my free time. Last like 2 weeks, so I'm only gonna do what I can in my time I'm breathing.
Only mildly morbid.
Yeah, it's been a long couple weeks.
Like I can make them cuter when I'm dead.
Kinda. Thanks for the follow, Pika. I don't really like how that foot is hitting that thing. It doesn't feel like it has enough. Like it doesn't feel like it came. Well, I think that might work. I might just go with it. Don't push yourself too much, Argo. I'm pushing myself really hard the last week or two because I want to get that second channel up and running. Once that is going, the idea is that will be self-sustaining. And because my goal at the beginning of the year was to do a video every 2 weeks. Right now, it means this Friday, it's impossible. I am not able to do anything because I am trying to get that self-sustaining thing. Once that is actually up and running, I will actually be at over 2 weeks. Or over a video every 2 weeks, because that will probably do one every 2 weeks, and then I will have my videos every month. But I need to get to a point where that is running, and it has just been a lot of work.
Maybe if you just take all your old videos, swap the models out for different characters, nobody will notice. You can just
actually, depending on what the stuff, I could get away with that only because there is a lot of people that when they sub to it, for instance. I have on my YouTube 240,000 subs. I'll put out a video, an actual good animation video, and it'll get 80,000 views. Well, there's 240,000 subs, so that means not everybody's watching everything. So there is some people that I could literally. I've done that with GIFs. I posted the same GIF, and then people are like,
"Yeah, how much money you could make just if you just collected money and." All you did was swap out Twilight Sparkle with somebody's Pony OC kissing Rainbow Dash.
That's YCH.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all those are. Is them making a very, very simple concept and then just having people pay them for filling in the gap. Which I was working off a concept of doing that for a while. Well, I never rendered it, but that was where I was going to do a YCH type thing with animations, where I was going to be making these pre-made cycles. And they would have a pre-made rendered version, and if people wanted to, they could buy the rights for it for pretty cheap, for use in music videos or whatever. But if they wanted a customized version of that with their own character put in there, then I would do a custom render of that by copy pasting things in, customizing it to work with that model, and for that specific individual at a higher cost then. It was a way of making it so that I could try to still be able to spend hundreds of hours working on something, but without it just being hundreds of hours at $1 an hour. So it was but I never ended up going forward with that. I started that like 4 years ago and I never finished it. The whole pre-roll that I have with that background is from one of those. I just repurposed it for that. One must appease the YouTube algorithm. Yeah, that's actually been a problem because I have not appeased the YouTube algorithm for years. And then I kind of pissed it off a little bit with the highlights thing. So that's why I'm making a second channel for stuff. But I never, if I would have actually like worked hard at YouTube, I'd probably be in a much better spot than I am now. But I was very lazy about it. I'm trying to play catch up.
A lot of it was copyright.
No, it's just like release stuff. I really took it slack. Instead, I wanted to make big things. And because I did a poll way back that says, do you want big things that less often, or do you want small things more often? The problem was more people wanted the big things, but big things take literally years sometimes. And in doing so, well, people got a good thing that they liked every now on a rare occasion. It drastically made my channel suffer. So by following the popular opinion, I took a hit. I took a huge hit, and I decided to stop listening to the popular opinion on that.
And only listen to Mike.
No, yep. Do you think there'll be another surge of people interested in MLP with the release of the new movie in G5? I don't see anybody new coming in. I can see some of the old people coming back to be interested, but only for a short period of time, and then they'll probably disappear again. And if they had a reason to leave before, they're going to find the reason again. I don't think you're going to be bringing in new people.
You'll be bringing back a lot of the old people who left,
but only temporarily for a very short time.
Well, they were only showed up for a short time to begin with.
Yeah, I know, and that's why they're just leaving again. So it's just going to cause an increase, and then it's going to go away, and then people are going to be depressed because the show's ending again.
But we do get a whole new group of waifus, so.
I have an image in my head of Rathfuls holding a sheep in one hand and a bendy straw in the other juice box. I get it. Depends on the writing. There will be a new younger fans. The real question will be how many old fans will embrace it. I don't see any new ones because where do you get them? Like, I don't see... When a show is first created, you're going to get a huge influx, and then it ended up being a trend. But once it already exists, you're not going to re-trend. I don't see it ever getting back to where it was.
I mean, we've seen in this chat that some people said they just joined the fandom after the show ended.
I know, but the amount of people that joined in like 2014, 2015, you're talking about like multiples increase. Like you're never going to have that again.
Probably not. The MLP Gen 4 was lightning in a bottle, and they wouldn't call it that if it wasn't rare. So, yeah.
No, it's we will not see any influx on things in the way that it was in 2014, 2015, because that was a single trend that saw itself constantly spiking and increasing. We're past that.
He just doesn't want to share his ponies.
Things will. I can definitely see people showing interest in having having an increase in people popping up again, but a lot of it is just going to be the old people showing interest. There's a lot of people that pop up on like my YouTube, and they'd be like I left the Brony fandom years ago, and but I still come back to watch this video, and I always find that funny because it's like, how do you leave a fandom? I mean, all that means is that I just stopped paying attention to the news, but I don't know. I never understood that concept.
You have to walk outside and burn all your plushies in effigy.
Yeah, I don't understand. Like, do you still have art on your wall? Do you still have?
Did you throw everything out?
I can understand. What it probably meant is that I stopped being obsessed by. That is a difference. But like, I was in the Halo fandom years ago. Mm-hmm. I never really left it. I just don't pay attention to it nearly as much as I used to.
I was super big into Half-Life, and I never left the Half-Life fandom. But I mean, I'm still kind of obsessed with it. But I don't have a Gordon Freeman figure.
So I think if people just have a certain threshold that once they go below that threshold, they consider themselves no longer in a fandom, and those people are still there. So I don't see that. I don't think we're gonna have an influx of people. We're gonna have an influx of people that are
still fans,
are doing things, that are interacting and actually paying attention to stuff. But that'll just be temporary. well, you won't be as big as it once was. Yeah, I know it won't be, and I think people expect it to do such.
People
No,
want it to
that's
do
why
so.
when there was a sudden influx, you don't have a sudden influx because of new people that were interested because suddenly MLP stuff popped up on their feed. That's not how the feeds work. Internet feeds work where they're looking at things that people are already interested in, which means that it saw that somebody was already interested in Pony before, and they haven't done it for a while. But now suddenly there's this new thing that a lot of old brony or current bronies still are interested in, so it starts popping it up in their feed because of a previous interest. And then they go and look into it more, and they're like, "Oh, that's really cool. There's something new. I guess I'll start watching this again." So the popularity isn't. I don't know. I know how the internet works. I don't think it's anything.
I mean,
It's gonna last.
the most interaction I've had, of course, is recently, other than your streams, is just reading that fan fiction. So, and that is a lot of Pony, but I can't see them. They're in a book. There's no pictures. Any pictures in my books?
There is.
All on the internet. Yeah,
Yeah, there's plenty of fan art.
it's all Rainbow Dash though. I can't find much Bell Smith. It's like
There's the one big picture.
the one big picture. They mean the one that you made.
No.
Number 2. He's like, no, quick, scroll down.
Is this one?
Aw. Yeah, I have seen that one.
It's a fat.
Is that supposed to be,
There's this one.
maybe I shouldn't, like, yeah, I've seen these two.
I don't know why Lyra's in there, but
Yeah, she's just like, I'm here from Background Pony.
this is, I think, and this is even from book 1 because you got him in there. So,
And,
These are popular.
this Props. She's a cute. Props is there. Propsy.
oh yeah.
She's sitting on Ebony.
So yeah, they got them.
Don't touch his,
Um,
just touch Freudian's horns. Antlers.
Yeah, the fanfic. There's 70 pictures in here.
That's not that many. Like,
Look at he's got him on the trip.
yes. I mean, I can appreciate some of these pictures, but there's really not a lot of pictures. No, the stabby of glimmer shivers.
Nobody's getting
No.
what we are saying here. Yeah, look at this was an Australia reference because this is the Australia symbol.
Yeah. But there's not like a ton, like compared to Fallout and
No.
the Fallouts.
But this was great about this is that it's a great story.
I don't know who that is.
I love this picture so much.
Is that the murder chicken?
No, no, but that's one of my favorite characters. So this is oh yeah, there's me. There's me again. This is Scopes. This is Scope.
No, Scope. Scope's Red Australia, apparently.
Yes. So
And your jacket up there, too.
Go
read
you need to
Australia.
really read that still. It's a good story, but it's like 4 million words.
It's very long.
It's a very long story.
Barely caught up. Kinda. No, I'm not. It's a lie. I'm on like the end of book 3.
No, it is a very long story, but it is a very good story.
It's a
Nolan
derbies.
voice.
It's a riding the derbies into the sunset.
Yay, debate.
Yay, derby.
I was thinking about having Michael actually do the voice for that, but I actually felt it was better if it was just like some super derp, like, yay, debate. But no, thank you very much, Nolan. I hope you did you enjoy your Shenmue last night? I was thinking of joining chat with you, but I was tired. I just went to bed. Oh, I went to go. Did I read for a bit? No, I ran out of time. I stayed up too late, and so I ended up.
You went to bed before I did.
I know, but I'll sometimes read before actually going to bed. But last night I went to bed.
I went up to my room and immediately started reading the book. And I looked up, I was reading. My phone was starting to die. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm done for the night. I look up, it's midnight. I'm like, oh. Got away from me.
I did that for Past Sins. When I read Past Sins, I ended up I read for 9 hours straight. I read until 3 in the morning.
That's another book I haven't read yet, but I'm going to be reading Australia for a while.
Yeah, I have a physical copy of
I know you do.
that,
But
too.
if I spilt juice on it or something, you'd probably stab me to death.
A little bit.
So Because that is not a book you can get another copy of very easily.
No, I think they did another run of it, and then that sold out.
Mm-hmm.
So this one is going to be where it's going to look like I am reaching up to get into position for this, but I can't actually. I'm going to have to do a weird bend here for like getting her up there. Past Sins is great. Past Sins was one of my first fics. I think my first fic was probably the one that was many people's first fic, which is My Little Dashie, but
the short ones.
That was not a really. I don't think My Little Dashie. It was an influential book, but it was not a good book.
People liked it because they liked the idea of themselves putting themselves in the place of the main character.
Very much so. It was not a good book.
Don't you want a little Dashie to basically keep in your house and never let out?
Yeah, that sounds like a very lonely life. We're spending years just raising some random horse, and then like it's great in a compact format. But if you think about it from like a legitimately how it would affect your life, like that's pretty tragic. Actually,
I mean, yeah. Still, I would almost certainly, if I found a small like magical Pegasus, I'd run into the mountains and hide away with it. Like nobody would see me or the horse ever again.
That's
so
kind of creepy.
I mean, I kind of like it's either that or just keep living in Minneapolis.
But no. So I No, so that my first fic was My Little Dashie, and Past Sins was one of my first ones, and I really enjoyed it. I have a printed copy or a physical copy of it upstairs. I think it was the first book they ever really printed, a pony book, and I definitely enjoyed it. I've read a ton of fics since then, but I haven't read any new ones for like probably 4 or 5 years.
Still reading Australia.
Australia has been where, because I got caught up reading Expanse, which all my books are up there for. I got caught up reading Expanse. I read a bunch of other science books. I got caught up with just other reading of stuff. And now I'm going back to reading Australia because it is now getting new chapters. It's been a couple of years. So
you want to hear something sad?
Does it have to do with your like past life again?
Nah, not necessarily. It's more along the lines, in my adult life, I did zero reading of like books until I read Fallout Equestria. Like that was the first.
Oh yeah, that was
book.
I only read
my adult life.
I only read Fallout Equestria because a friend of mine couldn't finish reading the book because he was afraid of finishing it. He didn't want to see it end. Mm-hmm. So he was a couple chapters at the end and he stopped reading it. So then I said, well, what if I start reading it? And then when I get to that point, we can finish it together. He's like, okay. And then like 3 days after I started reading it, he goes, I've finished it.
Yes.
And I'm like, okay. But it was good. And I'm glad I did read it. But
it was kind of sad because I was reading Project Horizons as it was being written. And I did
that towards the end, but not in the middle of it.
I was reading it as it was being written, and I had a friend of mine who went by the name of Spitfire Online, who was also reading it, and we were kind of reading it together, but he dropped out of the fandom towards the end of the book when it was being written. I'm like, hey dude, I just read the new chapter, you want to talk about it? He's like, nah, stop reading it, I don't really care anymore. And it was so depressing, because the whole reason I was reading it was to read it along with someone to talk about it, and now I'm trying to finish this book and I had no one to talk about it with.
Well, that was actually one nice thing with for our local group. We had the Bernie book club for a while, where we would all read the same story. We'd all determine that we would read up to a specific part in the book, and so in the next meetup a month later, we would talk about it. And Australia was one that we read. It ended up, some people were sad or didn't like the fact that we kept reading books that had continuations, Australia being a continuation, because at the very end of the first book, well, it is kind of self-contained, is the only time they say the name of the book, and then it leaves it open for interpretation. Mm-hmm. So I can understand, but there was about 3 stories we read like that and made some people a little frustrated.
Books 2 and 3 are definitely part of it.
But we did Fallout Equestria as one of them, and actually I really wanted to do that one for that because I started the Ministry Mayor's video and I needed references, and so the reading of that book let me do that and find those references throughout. So,
You never finished that one, did you?
no, I probably never will, because the music that's being used is copyright. So, and I don't use copy unless I found a way to either get the rights to it or change the music. But changing the music would completely change the idea for it.
I remember you put a lot of work into that one.
Yeah, I put a lot of work into a lot of things. That was why 2019 had nothing done. 2019 was me working on that, and then it ended up being nothing. It just... That video still has an absolute ton of work to do, and I am... If I wanted to finish it, it would take me a year. You can just be like, read these 2 chapters, then answer these 72 analysis questions. That's kind of what we did for the book readings, where Kyle would bring in some just discussion topics and we talk about them, but there's no like tests or anything, obviously. But it was just a fun thing to get everybody to sit down and read one thing. And we definitely picked and choose like good stories. We didn't just kind of pick at random. There are some really good authors in the fandom. One of the fantasy I read was Asylum by Damon of Decay for a while. That hasn't gotten updates for a while. I think I know which one you're talking about. I can't remember the details of it, but is that the one where Twilight is in an insane asylum, but she remembers everything about a life outside of it, and she's confused because she knows that this reality isn't the real one? Is that what it is?
You read a lot of fan fiction.
I know, because the amount of that are the really good ones is fairly small.
I've seen the number of fan fictions you read on.
Yeah,
it's like well over 100.
Yeah, that one was pretty good. And I'm actually sad that it hasn't finished, because that was years ago. And that one was really good because it was really like you wanted to know what was going on. It left so many questions open. It was dropped. That's the one problem, is when you don't have something that's funny. Like Australia was actually that way for a while. It stopped being written for like over 2 years.
The only reason I started reading it is because you told me they started writing it again.
Yeah.
I was afraid I was going to.
No, Australia was like 4 million words and it just stopped. I mean, obviously they're humans, and they burned out and they just couldn't keep up on it. But now they're back to writing it, Australia. But they made a joke in the chapter where they came back about the time that was gone. Little bit fourth wall breaking, but in a way, it made sense. So, but yeah, you have real humans that are writing these things, and if they're not being funded, it's hard to have the motivation to do it. So I understand why. It's the same reason. I can't be angry at somebody for not finishing a story they've been writing when I haven't finished videos that I made before for probably very similar reasons. So if they, they're human. And they do what they need to do. And actually, the main reason I've been putting out more videos right now is because there has been the benefit between Patreon and Twitch and YouTube, where I've seen where people are helping out, and now I can bring on help and stuff, and that is motivating. It's actually very motivating, but also it creates an expectation, and sometimes you just need that. When you're the only expectation, you could say like the love and admiration of the people that enjoy your content. Yeah, but there's a baseline for that, and you have to keep exceeding that baseline. Otherwise, even that burns out.
Would you like if I screamed at you to finish your stuff? Would that be helpful? Or would you just throw things at me?
Do you have a checkbook?
Yes.
You can pay me.
I do.
You actually do. He's a patron too, so I guess.
I have been for like
it's
a long time.
When you put a lot of effort into something, you don't want to just see that you put a ton of effort into something and you stay exactly where you are. You want to see where you put a ton of effort into something and then you see it grow. And that's where I was having the problem for a while. And actually, even right now, is growth is the difficulty. So I'm changing a bunch of stuff here and there, trying to figure out where's the niche for getting growth. And that's why we're making the second channel, because that is currently, from what I can tell, the main thing that's holding me back, is the creation of melding too much types of content into the same place. I just checked it out. It sounds worth it. Tried, but almost 30 chapters, still not finished. My heart can't take that. I should wait until a fanfic is finished, then read the last chapter to sure the writer didn't drop the ball. So, ruining the story.
Spoil. Yeah.
I'm picky. I have a lot of. If you want recommendations for
You're
fics,
not
I can
picky.
definitely give you recommendations.
I need to read Blue.
I read some that I never finished because they were just. I just couldn't get into them. But then there's other ones that I really got into. Some of my favorites. There's an author that was writing a chapter every Friday. It was a long chapter, but it meant every Friday I had something that I could just go and enjoy and read. It was something to look forward to. It was actually because of them having scheduled, consistent content that it gave me the idea of doing the same, where people like to know when stuff pops up. And so that's why we want to try to get to a point so we can have either weekly or bi-weekly uploads so that you know, hey, this is the day somebody puts something out. And we're working to get to that point. Probably won't be to a weekly trend or a weekly release until like summer, but we're getting there.
You know who really needs to finish their fan fiction? Gabe Newell.
Gabe Newell has a fanfic.
Yeah, it's called Half-Life. He needs to finish it.
You know, no, a fanfic is about like a story based on something that already exists out that you don't own.
Gordon Freeman's a real person.
He is?
Yeah, you just don't know it.
I don't know. Well, he probably is. I mean, like,
Some guy out there named Gordon Freeman, it looks just like him.
I don't know about looks just like him, but there's probably some random guy out there that's named Gordon Freeman. He's probably like a real estate agent. Like, it's just some.
It's like, why is this about my life?
So I'm going to do a very quick blend of this because I want to see how it looks. I have a feeling it's going to look like shit. So, one of the things is when I'm doing, normally when I do a lot of my normal blends, I'll do a blend like this. Well, I'll do a small inner and a lot of these like larger outside areas. For this, no. Because what this will do is it'll do a really quick pass and then it will slow down. Then it will go to here again. Where it's going to do, so it's going to slow down, then speed back up again, and you're going to get like jerky motion. So for these, I actually want to be a little different. Was Australia updated weekly? No, Australia was updated daily for years. Like Australia was updated where it was about 1,000 to 1,200 words a day for years.
That's why I got burnt out.
And
it didn't take long.
That's why there's like 4 million words and it's over 9 or 10 books.
How long have I been reading it now?
Now he's doing, I think, a weekly release or so, but it's much longer chapters. So instead of doing a daily release in smaller volume, he's releasing much larger chapters over a longer time. But it used to be daily or almost daily, and that was nuts. And I don't know how they did it. But I did like the smaller chapter format that they were doing because it meant that I could just open up a chapter, I could read it beginning to end in like under 10 minutes, and it could just close, like go to bed after 10 minutes.
I'd say the first book had super short chapters, but this book I'm on now, which is book 3, the chapters are getting a little bit longer. They're not crazy long, but they feel like the appropriate length for a chapter as opposed to 2 pages. There was a time they're like 2 pages.
Yeah, it jumps around a little bit. Originally, he thought he had a 200 chapter limit per story, and so a lot of the books have 200. So it'll start kind of short, but then you'll start getting towards the end where they'll get longer because he starts hitting that limit and he's writing too much. So they'll start getting longer chapters, and then it'll end. And then the next book will start small again. But then there's one book where it's small, then it gets longer and longer, and then you realize that there wasn't a limit. And so then it gets small again, and then that one goes to 300 chapters instead. Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's nuts. I don't know how he kept up with that. All right, see you later, Alexander.
Derpy with you.
Yeah, I don't know how Short Skirts kept up with that stuff, but being he can basically just write a story like that as quick as he is, or she, I don't know, and keep things fairly congruent. Though, as far as I can tell, he said that he needs to even reference reference information because he forgets how his story is going. Yeah, it's
I think once it's done, we need to get a print copy of that book.
Somebody's already worked that book.
Yeah, the whole thing.
Somebody already did that. It's literally like this.
Yes, we're gonna have to get a bookshelf too, just to put it on, like on one bookshelf.
You
It'll
can
just be that story.
You can print stuff like so like there's
thousands of dollars. I almost want to do it when it's done.
So this is where I bought all my cards for the Iron Pony thing, Superior POD, because they're cheap. But they do book printing, so they'll actually print actual books. The problem is, you have to edit it. You have to put page numbers. You have to figure out what's per page.
That is
you have to break down chapters.
Australia needs an editor.
Yeah, there's definitely some spelling errors.
Oh, there's some. Yeah, it's like you kind of have to figure out what he was trying to actually put there sometimes, because he definitely didn't go back over and correct anything. He or she, whoever.
Okay, so this is what it look like.
It's so cute.
So this position to this position is going to look quite a bit different in final. But the idea is, does this work from a physics standpoint?
Mm-hmm.
I think it does. I think it's too smooth. I actually think that I did this to where these need to be smaller. I thought I would need to make this. You know what, now that I think about it, each interaction with the ground is going to require stop and then move again. So maybe it actually makes sense to not have it that way. So we're going to shrink that down a little bit and see how that turns out. So right, this is not final stuff. I'm just trying to determine, like, is what I have usable, or do I have to poke at this more?
I'm curious.
Okay, that's a little bit too much. That's where I'm getting the robotics. But technically, since everything is still locked, I could just go through here and like smooth this, and this would probably make it look flat. Yeah, it makes it look better. So definitely had to blend or smooth that out a little bit. But it is doing what I need it to do. I think what I want to do here is, like I was thinking, what does she actually say in this again? So this, where is she the most stable?
Stable.
I'm going to say right here. So if I actually have it so that at this point, from here, her arm's like this, to where this one, she's actually with her arm down like this. Then I could say that she is standing here. Then I can delay this actual like keyframe. And then she can work towards moving to the next bit. Yeah, because that was the concern. This right here is where she needs to actually interact with the ground. Right now the keyframe is here. So I need to move this to here. And now this is, so these scenes or the shots before this, the whole reason that I added like this other shot here was just as a blend point. I didn't actually care about the interactions of the model at those points. It was just so then at this point she was working from something, which means then timing wise that should work. I can probably readjust some of these a little bit, but the main thing is when she's moving, because I've had it before where I go and do all my keyframes and then I determine that I forgot that like you put a leg down in one shot, but if you don't really have it down for more than like one full frame or one full keyframe, as soon as you go to like say you blend from here to here, say you're crossing into this range, and then you go from here to here, from this blend to this blend, you now have two that are crossing over, so the leg never actually fully hits the ground because it's blending from the two keyframes outside of that, so it'll instead kind of slide across the ground to keep going. So you need at least 2 frames or 2 keyframes where a limb is interacting with the ground. And so like in here, you can see the back ones sitting there for a little bit. With their hoof on the edge there, it's on there for 2 frames, or not 2 keyframes. As long as it's on there for 2 keyframes, it means that if it was here, like say between these two, it's blended. It means if I blend these two, no matter what, these two, or this one and this one, are going to be the ones that have the hoof moving. I am in no way able to slide it over those positions, and so that was a mistake I made plenty of times long ago. Now I know to try to ensure that. How long would a Strayo book be larger than the Merriam-Webster dictionary? I do not know how long the dictionary is. It's about 4 million words right now, though. And it's only on book 9 of 12, I think. Or is it on book 10?
I think it's probably longer than the longest book ever printed. Like officially printed.
People like to make that that reference on fanfics, but if you look at just any random fanfic on here, or just different fanfics, there's plenty on here that are longer than the longest book ever published.
Yeah.
The
longest book ever published was like 9 million characters.
No, that's not that then. No, there was some other one that people are referencing.
I'm talking characters, not words, like individual.
I thought he had a fancy. Oh, here it is. So currently on Ulfrodi, he stopped in 2018 and it's now going back again. Yeah, so we're on book 9 and there's still 10, 11, and 12 to go.
Oof.
So all these books are already done though, and if you really want to be sad, is where you look at the words. Strayo's 212,000. Next book was 223, 313, 357, 438, and then 364, 423, 918.
Ouch.
670 for the current.
And I'm on book 3. What's that one called again?
This Utah is where things go out of control.
Yeah. Scroll down to which book I'm on.
Book 3, you are on this one.
I'm towards the end of that one.
Okay, yep. So you are currently about less than 1 million words into a 4 million story.
I'm working.
So the amount of words you have read is still not equivalent to this book alone. Cool little tidbit with these stories, though, that I love. All the chapter names are dependent on the story. Book 1, 1 word. Book 2, 2 word. Book 3, 3 word. Book 4, 4 word. Book 5, 5 word. Book 6, 6 words. Book 7, 6 words. Book 8, 5 words. Book 4, 4, or book 9, 4 words. And so all the chapters go up in let words and then start going downwards. So eventually, book 12 should have a single word per chapter again. This is an interesting little tidbit. Venmarasu, which had 3.6 million words according to Wikipedia. Yeah, that's definitely. This has already beaten that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these 2 books alone are like 150. But again, it's published. If you were to say the largest book ever written, I'm pretty sure this book got its ass kicked somewhere from like some Doctor Who fan fiction or something.
Well, I mean, if you just take Doctor Who as complete work from all the scripts and put them together, that thing would be ridiculously long.
Well, if you were to write it as a story, even scripts probably wouldn't work. Scripts are probably going to be, they're usually like a page per minute. So I would think that probably wouldn't even add up. But if you put it as a story, you would have to add a lot of extra context.
Yeah. Smash Brothers fan fiction.
I love that fanfic series. Which fanfic? Strayo or like is there some
Smash Brothers?
Oh,
I don't know.
Is the longest ever piece of English literature some Smash Brothers fanfic is still going? Maybe that seemed really weird. Here over.
Then Yoshi kissed Princess Peach in front of Mario, and Mario was like,
"Why don't you write fanfic?" There we go. Australia, of course. Yes, Australia is probably my favorite fanfic. I followed Equestria as my second, but Australia is probably my first. If you ever have a chance to read it, it's good. It is very good. But Followed Equestria is like, what, 600,000 words long? Actually,
Really? It's that short. It feels short now that I've been reading Australia. I think it's over. I thought it was 1.5 million. Or am I thinking of...
Oh, no, it's not. Thanks for the follow, Jakey. 620.
How long was
A lot longer. That was probably double at least.
Project Horizons was?
Yeah, Project Horizons was very, very long. But no, Followed Equestria was not that long. It was just there was a lot in that 620,000. So this was basically 3 Australios. Actually, you have read more than those Followed Equestria already.
Yeah.
So
I think, yeah. I think what I've probably read at this point is the length of what Murky number 7 was. Because that was
if I had the oh boy emote, I'd use it. I do have it on here. There
you go. That, oh boy.
It is. I do have it on Twitch here. I am friends with Scope, so I know about that emote. I think, is anybody, if you've seen Anthology, I got a good laugh out of him. I almost did it specifically for him, and thankfully during the premiere of BronyCon, I was sitting next to him. Let me see here. Yeah, this was my intro for Anthology. I couldn't think of what to do, so I ended up because they were doing like a Scott Pilgrim intro. I couldn't figure out what to like put in the background, so I put the oh boy face, and he was literally sitting behind me, and he's like, "The oh boy is strong in this one."
Did he draw that or something?
No, it was just there's a joke, but I can't state what it is because it would spoil.
Spoil what?
It's a reference. The joke that comes from it is a reference to something that hasn't happened yet, so I can't state what the joke is. You just keep reading your book.
Wait, this is a reference to something in Australia?
No, not the story. The reference he used for it originally.
It's something in Australia.
I'm not going to say anymore. So you just shut up.
Yeah, my face has something to do with Australia.
So yeah, that I think I forgot. There's like a tier 2 emote. I think. So yeah, that's on Twitch. It's also I think if you're on. Scope's Discord has it on there too, and the Lemur Discord. The Lemur Discord is what's his face? Is Short Skirts and Explosions.
I'm lost too.
Or Short Skirts and Explosions. Discord too. Totally lost. Yeah, we're talking. It's a completely different fanfic. If you've seen the Australia trailer that I made, that's in reference to book 1 of the series, but book 1 is only like 212,000 words out of 4 million.
Can I know when I will understand the reference? To the oh boy face?
Why did Rainbow Dash leave Equestria with the element of loyalty? Why did the pony of loyalty leave her friends? So it's not really a spoiler because it's right at the it's basically within early in book 1.
I mean,
she leaves because her friends are dead. Everything, some bad things happened, and not really. So it's things happen. And I know that one of the reasons that I loved the story was the fact that it didn't give any information. It was
Rainbow Dash flies east.
Yeah, it just said Rainbow Dash flies east. I liked the fact that it was the information that was provided was minimal because I don't like knowing too much in a story. So she's heading out because there's nothing left for her where she was, and so she finds things along the way and gains a kind of new purpose, but her original reason for doing such was basically out of and
loyalty, really, I think,
or the fact that there's nothing left to be loyal to. But there's other things that come up that give extra context to that I don't want to provide that information to.
I kind of feel like I know that she's hoping for something at the end of the road.
And there's a lot of stuff that I've said even here that as you go on can challenge even what I've said, but I'm not going to go into any more detail on it. Yeah, but even then, there's enough. Most people are confused because they're like, I want to know more information before going into a story. But that was the great thing about it was rated well, and I knew nothing. Most of the stories, if I read the description of it and it basically said what the problem of the whole story is going to be before I even started reading it, I wasn't going to read it because if I know what the problem is, then all I'm doing is I'm spending the entire time reading the book, waiting for the problem that I already have been told about. I loved the fact that I could go into a story and know nothing about it, and as I went, learned everything. And so everything was a mystery, and that was great, but I know for some people that's not what they want. But you don't have somebody write that long of a book and have the rating that they have without it being good.
It should just be the first book should have just been called Rainbow Dash Dies at the end. The whole series, like you're gonna read the whole thing.
And so the word Austreo, I can't remember. It's like a mix of two different languages, but the word itself means East Horse. So the whole idea, it's so unspoilery that even the title of the book is just the description of the book. So if I pick it up, will I be reading it for the next year? Yes.
Year and a half.
It is 4 million words, and so it used to be that if they were writing a chapter a day at like 1,200 words, if you didn't read 1,200 words a day, you were not even keeping up with what was being written. But it is fine because don't think of it where you have to get to where things are now to enjoy it. There are multiple points in the book that have just absolute epic moments and are great. And if I were to have stopped reading at that point, I would have been happy. And that happens multiple times. So it's definitely worth a read.
I'm definitely interested in what's going on in the book right now where I'm at. So,
welcome, Trailblazer. That sounds really depressing, but good luck. No, I recommend reading it, but do know that it will. If you enjoy book one, you will enjoy the rest of the series. The rest of the series is even better than book one. But book one on its own, in its own encompassing thing, and the trailer that I made for the story is essentially exactly, it is only book one. It is from beginning to end, all the peeps. So if you watch the video for Australia that I made, that is book one. All of it. I mean, I left out important things, very key moments, because I don't want to spoil things. But a lot of the stuff that happens there is from the book.
It was fun reading the first book and then going back and watching that video, just because it's like, oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, I remember this scene. So it was a lot of fun.
Well, do know, like, so I spent a year working on a trailer for the fic. I bought. There's a large group of jurists that are from the fandom of Australia. They made a sweater that every bunch of us got. I have one, and there's been a ton of a bunch of fan art. Is it as big as Fall Equestria? No, but I kind of like that it's not.
It's more demanding. That's I think that's part of the reason.
I feel like it's a more of a niche group of fans of it, and I kind of enjoy it for that. So that's no problem for me. So I prefer to have some idea of the plot, then I can enjoy how things come to be. Well, do know that what I gave you is very little, very little. It's the starting point. That book goes a long ways. You don't know 4 million words. 4 million words is a lot of reading. I spent a year and a half getting caught up. I mean, it was while the book was being written, so I definitely was keeping up with it for a while.
I almost got the first million down.
But it is a lot of reading. But don't think that it is. A lot of people think that it is one single story where the only good stuff happens toward the end, or the payoff is at the end.
There's a lot of
payoffs along the way, to where if I would have stopped reading at the beginning of the current book, I would have been happy never reading, or if nothing ever happened further in the series. But no, more is still happening. So no, I'm good with it. Anyways, we're half hour over. So it was called Asylum. Yeah, Asylum was a good one too. I really wish that I would, when they stopped writing for a while, I thought I could go back to it when they started again. I'm sad that they didn't, because it was a cool concept and it was really well written. But no, thanks for hanging out, guys. I'm gonna be done for today. I will be back on Friday. We'll probably work on this more. I'm not gonna have it done, and we'll see. To try to keep up with my video every 2 weeks. For patrons and Twitch subscribers, I'm going to be having a video on Patreon or Discord that will be up, the practical joke compilation that I was gonna make a while like last week, but I got caught up in other stuff. I'll try to have that done, at least to have some content for you guys. But there probably will be a little gap until I can get the highlights up and running. So hopefully soon. It's a lot of work. I get it, Soviet. Red just won't die for 5 years and Journey verse for Ten Hawk. So as long as Estreo is good, I have no problem with the link. No, it's good. It's you won't regret it. Just give it like 50 chapters, which sounds like a lot, but do know that they're super short at the beginning because it's going to be kind of slow. It's a lot of really good imagery at the beginning to kind of set the pace for stuff, and then it starts just accelerating from there. But the first bunch of chapters are really kind of sad and lonely, but they're just setting the premise for how things go. But anyways, yes, have a good one, guys. I'm gonna head out for now. We're gonna give you your derpy.
Oh, we got derpies?
No, that's not a derpy. That's a cat.
Oh, we need derpies now.
It's very
derpies.
Nope, that's a cat.
No, we get derpies.
Nope, there's a cat.
He's not giving derpies, everyone. He's holding Derpy hostage.
No, you see
Promise
those
Derpy.
eyes? You see those eyes? That is derpy. He's a kitty.
Derpy is. She would be a cute kitty, yes.
Bye, Jules. Yes, kitty. Thank you guys. Wow, we got a lot of. Actually, this is a pretty good stream for pause and everything. Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. You were gonna try to make a derpy.
I'm gonna make a derpy before the stream ends. We were promised derpies.
Oh, their server did it. We got a derpy.
Yay, derpies.
Wait, that's actually pretty small. Let me.
We need bigger derpies.
This is the end. We need to make. I need a. Why is this not letting me? Oh, there. I actually hit it. Hold on. I hit it before you did it. Let me fix that. Hold on, we'll play it again.
More derbies.
We'll play it again. There we go. Is that a good one?
Yay, we're see a prop. That's good.
Is that better?
But it's even better. Can you make it bigger than the screen? Like, can it burst out of the screen and into our hearts?
Okay, I want to see how big I can make this. Oh god, it's so big I can't change the size anymore.
Good, it's forever derped.
I've got to slowly shrink this back down. Okay, I got it back down. It's normal size now.
Oh,
there we go. There you go. Last little derp.
yeah, derps.
Okay. Well, bye.
Bye, everyone.